It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at a quick teaser. Now, this is both a teaser and like a short interview with the cast and crew where they tease the show. There's some very interesting details in this teaser that I do want to talk about. Some pretty interesting reveals. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to put these in the teaser before the actual show comes out. Now I'll explain some of the things that I'm referring to, but overall it definitely feels like the adaptation from the game is exactly the same as far as the main story is concerned. I mean, the shows and creators literally explain the main plot points of the story in terms of the setup. I'm not talking about the entire thing, I'm just talking about the setup of the story. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, before we dive into it, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that said, let's dive right into it. First things first, so we have an interview with Pedro Pascal, who's going to play Joel, with Bella Ramsey, who's going to play Ellie, also Neil Druckmann, the creator of the game, also the writer and executive producer for the show, and also Craig Mazin, who's one of the other writers and executive producers. What Neil Druckmann basically talks about is the main story of The Last of Us, where we start 20 years after an event, an apocalyptic event, which was because of the spread of a virus caused by a fungus. So they pretty much tell you the main bit of the prologue of the story. So that's definitely super interesting. Not sure why they decided to just spoon feed it to us in a way. Obviously, I'm talking about non-gamers because gamers already knew that. But why are they going into that much detail? I don't know. But then Craig Mazin also talks about certain things about adapting the game, saying how they had to be smart about certain things and how they brought certain things into the story because it works as a game. It may not work as a TV show, certain aspects of the story, I mean. So he did talk a little bit about that as well. And then we had some parts where Bella Ramsey actually talked about playing Ellie and stuff like that. Now, another thing Neil Druckmann mentioned was how Joel was going to smuggle a 14-year-old out of a quarantine zone and into some location where they're trying to find a cure, a sort of vaccine for the virus. So that's also another piece that I don't know why they specifically revealed. I mean, we would have figured it out in the first few episodes anyway, but I feel like it's just giving the audience too much as an interview, you know what I mean? But there's another part where Bella Ramsey actually says that she was advised not to play the game. Now, obviously, you could ask why would they do that? And I think the reason why they did that is to make sure that her performance is not biased or in any shape or form based off of what was done in the game. But she did say that she did watch certain gameplays and stuff like that. So now we're going to move on to some of the behind the scenes that they released as part of this teaser. There's also some very short scenes from the actual show as well, which we're going to talk about. First thing is this shot of what appears to be the town of Jackson. This is super cool. We will see another scene related to this in a little bit, but we have also Joel running. We can see this shot, which is Tess and I think Ellie. They're standing somewhere and they're being filmed by the camera crew. I think this is part of the story where they're actually at a museum, which was in several shots in the main trailer as well. We have this shot as well of Ellie and Tess. I'm assuming this is related to the same scene. We have this interesting shot of Joel climbing up from some sort of a pit. Now this could either be him tackling like some sort of a soldier and then fighting him inside a pit, or he could be fighting an infected or a clicker, something along those lines. Most likely not a clicker because this is outdoors and we rarely see infected outside. So this is probably him fighting a soldier or an infected. And then we have this shot of Marlene. And then we have this cool shot of a group of soldiers. These are actually part of the group called the Hunters, who weren't necessarily explored that much in the game. We did see them, but they're definitely expanding their story in the TV adaptation. And the female character at the front is actually their leader. Then we have this shot of Joel and Ellie. Joel is reloading his rifle, and this is obviously right after they crash into that building when they're ambushed by the gang in the city. And then we have this shot of Joel. We have this pretty cool shot, which is obviously from the DLC. Ellie and Riley, they're at a Halloween shop, which matches the part in the story in the DLC where they do go to the Halloween shop that's at the mall. And then we have this shot of the prologue. So we have Sarah, who is Joel's daughter, stopping him from going back to the car that's crashed. And I'm assuming this is Sarah trying to stop him because he might get hurt, something like that. And we might actually see what led to that moment, because there is a part in the teaser where the director yells action, and then we see Joel and Sarah, and then there's a car that crashes into another car. So I'm assuming that this is related. Maybe Joel goes to check up on whoever was in the car. I'm assuming he was a cop because this is a sheriff's vehicle. And then we have some other behind the scenes shots. So we have Craig Mazin, the director slash writer. We have another shot of him here, so that's super cool. And then we have Ellie here on the ground. We see the camera. And then we have this cool shot of Bill and his partner, Frank. This is another part of the story they're expanding. We're obviously getting a backstory for Bill, and we're gonna learn about Frank, and we're gonna see him. We obviously heard about his name, and we learned about what happened to him in passing, but we didn't really see him. But we are gonna see that in the TV adaptation. We see this other shot of Bill and some other men. And then we have a short scene. We have Ellie saying, "Can I have a gun?" To which Joel and Tess reply with no. So that was another scene that was in there that was super cool. And then we have these shots of a reunion between Tommy and Joel. Now this was in one of the teasers that we looked at, but I put it here as well. So we have Tommy in the town of Jackson. He sees Joel and reunites with him. Obviously, this means that the town of Jackson is being brought on earlier in the TV adaptation, because we didn't get the town of Jackson until part 2 of the video game. But not much more to say about this part. I mean, we know this is definitely Jackson. Just look at the sign in the background. Then we have some very interesting snippets of scenes that were in the teaser. We have this shot of an audience, an ABC audience, looking at some people that are doing an interview. I'm assuming that this guy who's on the left is some sort of a scientist, because he actually says some virus make you ill, but some make you lose your mind. He's obviously referring to the fungus, the cordyceps fungus. So this is definitely cool. Now we did know that we're definitely getting the origin for the cordyceps fungus. We're gonna actually see what the origin was and where it started. So this is probably a scene that's closely linked to the origin story for the cordyceps. Like I said, this guy's probably a scientist explaining what is actually going on with people when they get infected with the virus. And obviously, it's not like things happened right away. First day, everyone was a infected person. It took several weeks, maybe several months, which they're probably going to explore. It's not like we're going to see right away everything turn upside down. Things are going to progressively get worse and worse and worse. And then we have this shot, which I was surprised they put in the teaser, but this is from the prologue. We have Joel crying over Sarah's body, holding her, Sarah being his daughter. And this is obviously the end of the prologue in the game. Now, like I said, I'm surprised they put this in the teaser, but also Pedro Pascal, in his interview, actually talked about this. He did say Joel is not able to save his daughter, Sarah. So that's super interesting. I mean, why would they reveal that in the teaser? Let alone the teaser, why would they come out and say these in an interview? So I thought that was super odd. But obviously for gamers, we don't care. We knew about this already. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go through in this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.